What are values? How may we define them? What are the aspects and properties of values? Values can be defined as the qualities of a person or a thing that give us the reason for their being appreciated. If we appreciate responsible people, it is a good indication that we value responsibility. If you like aesthetics, beautiful things, probably a beautiful appearance is a value for you. A friend of yours is more interested in functional objects, no matter how they look. You may conclude that functionality is something that is important for him here. Your boss wears only natural fabrics, eats vegan food, and goes to work by bike. You may conclude that the natural environment and animals' life are important for them. The second definition of values says that they are things that enrich our lives in sense of material, social, spiritual, or religious aspects. For instance, you can value social peace, harmony between people, or tolerance to different opinions. Another person values more traditional order and strict hierarchy in society. The third definition of values refers to actions that help us to achieve some desired objects. So, if you are interested in having a large family and staying at home with your children, you probably think about finding a reliable partner and or a well-paid but not demanding job, possibly one to be performed at home. Values have different properties. Firstly, they provide answers to the question, why are we doing something? So, to know one's values, you have to observe people's actions. Why is it not enough only to ask? Often, we don't know about all the values that are valuable for us. Some are more implicit than explicit. For instance, you can value something without realizing it. On the contrary, another person can maintain that they like books but do not read anything. To answer the question, do you like reading books? She says, yes, only because she thinks that she should. Often, the pressure of society makes people claim to like something what they don't really value. Why it is not enough only to observe, because imagine you see somebody watching this video, so you may conclude that watching the video is what the person values. But you don't know why. Here we come to the next property of values. They can be revealed only by the person who has them. Values. They can't be discovered only by watching. So you may ask the person watching, why are you listening to this video? The answer could be very different. One may like the background of this video, like the person speaking, or just watch because of the content. You can stop questioning her and conclude that you have reached the ultimate question about the reason. This can be the cause, but there is still the option that these are not the ultimate values, but only instrumental ones, which are valued only because they permit you to reach another value. So you can ask further, why are you interested in the content? Again, for some, it is just interesting to understand what values are. Others expect that after listening, they will be able to answer provided questions. Why? Again, some appreciate the content and some watch this video to gain more marks. Why? To complete the course successfully. we dig further. Why do we want this, you may say? To get a master's degree. Again, why? To get a good job. We can try further and listen to various answers with less and less instrumental values and come closer and closer to ultimate one. So the second aspect of properties of value is that they may be achieved for ourselves or for a higher purpose. So, for instance, education may be for you the goal in itself. You like to learn new things, or education may be only a step, the instrumental value to work in a desired workplace. In the first case, it is an instrumental value, and in the last case, it is the final value. The next aspect of property of value follows on from the one already discussed. It is hierarchy, which means that the values can be placed in a specific order of importance for a person. The company can also put its values in the hierarchy. For instance, if you decide that for you, family is more important than work, you would find it easier to make a decision in situations when these two values are in conflict. As for the hierarchy in the company, for instance, if the well-being of stakeholders is the main value for the company and not only of the shareholders, it would be much easier to make decisions that avoid, for instance, reduction of workplaces in the company. The next aspect of values is that they are in conflict. Therefore, all values cannot be realized at the same time and to the same extent. For instance, family and work can be in conflict in one part of life. Efficiency and justice may seem to be in conflict. Similarly, capital and work, working hard and having fun. Therefore, you have to choose and decide by yourself what is more important for you. A similar property of values is that they build oppositions. For instance, freedom or bonding, convenience or education. The next aspect of values is that they have continuous of expressions. For instance, wealth can be greater or less. For one person, being rich or wealthy means to have a job, a flat, or a car. For another, it is having holidays to exotic countries. It means that wealth can be defined in different ways. To some, refers to beauty. This is not the same with virtues, where the most optimal virtue is in the middle. Courage is defined as being in the middle between cowardice and foolhardiness. The values we have many different aspects and they can be presented on continuum. To summarize, values are something that we desire and they are responsible for our motivations. I want to be so good, like an angel. They help us to do something in order to get these values. They are very strong motivations, and this is stressed by many psychological theories. Many regard values as responsible for our motivation. Values have the many different properties, and they give us the answer as to why we are doing something. They can be accessed only subjectively. We have instrumental and terminal values. Moreover, they form a hierarchy and may be in the conflict. Last but not least, they form opposites. Finally, it is very important for us, for the company as well as for the state, that we ask ourselves the question, what is valuable for us? And put our values in order of priorities. That simplifies our decision making and our actions.